Greetings, dear, precious, magnificent, beautiful soul that you are. Whew. Wow, I really acknowledge you for standing strong in yourself, for doing your work, the investment that you have in your own consciousness, your own being, your own self, and also for the welfare and good of all. I acknowledge you. My topic, fear is not good or bad. Fear is not good or bad. You see, because it's all how you use it. Because fear for most people immobilizes. They're like, ah! It's like, crisis time, it's all over. And the mind can just go at it. And oftentimes too, and the fear that could take over in the body and the manifestations in the body of what the fear does. And it's an interesting thing. I had this experience the other day, and it was like a shock of some kind that I wasn't ready for or whatever, and it was like, wow. And I let myself, not the mind, because I could watch the mind. You want to be able to watch the mind. You have a mind, but you're not a mind. You are divine mind. So if you don't need the word mind anyway, but it's your own being is so magnificent and so glorious. And not as to beat your chest to say, I'm the best. No, it's not like that. It's to really recognize that so that you're not allowing the manifestation or the effects out here to control you, who is a divine creator being. You see, that's a label, but that's who you are. So what happened was I allowed myself to feel that and where that went in my body and how it felt. And as I did that, instead of being afraid, and then we're afraid of the feeling, and then we're afraid of what it does, and it's a shutting down of oneself. And then I also, as I was looking at something, I allowed the mind to then, it started coming out with all these vile things about me, about how awful I was, how horrible, on and on these, and I went, whoa, there were things I had never even thought of, and I went, where's that? And it's like, you might say, to really get about what fear is also, here's another word, is called FEAR, false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. FEAR. So it's like when people then keep getting that fear, then they might run to get a pill for non-fear, or they might run to get something or addiction of some kind that's going to end it. It's just like, oftentimes when we're tired, we want to go get some sugar and caffeine. Well, that's not the best idea. You could do your deal, but you got to learn how to monitor your body so that whatever you're doing, it's like I like coffee, so I have to make sure I have magnesium because the coffee tends to take magnesium out of the body, but it also has some little benefits. So you know what I'm saying. So what happens is fear, people become immobilized. They're stuck. It's like we used to like bunny rabbits. If you shine the headlights of the car on the bunny rabbit, it just stops going, ah, like that, ah, like that. Now, but a bunny rabbit also is good prey, Prey, for other animals. Because we have bunny rabbits I've seen, they can run faster than dogs. I never could believe it. I see this guy going, what is it? It's a jackrabbit. I go, that man was fast, or girl, whatever. So when you write use of it, you don't call it bad or good because it's a reaction. It's also reaction to what could happen to you in the future. And so then all the programming that we have had, all the movies, you see, they're one of the worst things. All of the radio, all of the books, all of the education and state-supported education, all of the what would you say? Oh, a lot of not the real true spiritual religious things that you find that you could find when find the truth. You could find it everywhere, but also the faults. You can see the faults that's there, and you are using your conscious ability to manifest as you desire, and not allowing the fear when a shock or an awareness or something happens where you're like the rabbit frozen into the spotlight, and then you are prey because you have actually completely denied your own power and ability. And so that's the time where you take a look at like what an animal would do most of the time. I look at my kitty cat. If she sees a bad dog, which I call a coyote, it's like she's boom right there, and she's got her place where she goes, and she knows what to do. She doesn't stand and she doesn't analyze. She does what her inner guidance tells her to do in that moment. So fear isn't good or bad. It isn't a positive or a negative, you see. Someone emailed me and said they were happy all the work I did for them in the past was wonderful, but they don't watch my YouTube. They really don't like my own philosophy, what I'm teaching, because they like the power of positive thinking. Well, this is that and beyond, because the power of positive thinking actually is a really wonderful first way to get involved. It's when you start doing some of the basic studies, you start realizing the power of thoughts and words, and you start looking at, why am I always delving into the negative of what bad thing can happen or whatever, and I want to then think about the positive. But the problem is you have to keep affirming the positive all the time, because the negative always keeps popping up, because they go together, you see, as like a battery and a positive and a negative charge. It's an energy field, and we can see how this energy manifests in this reality. So what you do is, yes, positive thinking is great. One of my first classes were positive thinking for women only. It's great. And my business was called Success Plus, speaking for Fortune 500 people on effective self-management, you see, that they didn't really even know that at that time. So this fear then, and what we want to do is then you take that time to be with yourself and to really focus on what it is that you want to do as your service, as you're giving, as you're empowering others, as you empower yourself in your career, in your relationships, in every aspect of your being. So I invite you also to join with me in the Shasta Spiritual Experience and the New Prosperity Renaissance Adventure, you see, of Adventures in Enlightenment. That is my nonprofit organization. And I always one of the hardest things for me was always setting a price for things. Always trying to decide this, because I want everybody to have it. And yet I know the greatest value comes when we actually give. And that when I started prospering is where I started giving to where my church or my spiritual center or my teachers. And I started, I spent probably hundreds of thousands, maybe dollars or millions of dollars, all in really eliminating doubt of who we are and what's possible, you see, to come to our own realization that whatever goes on, whatever is happening, as you stand strong, you are not the effect of the manifestation. You are able to manifest consciously what you need in each and every moment. And here's a wonderful affirmation I want you to use, if you choose to. Right now, all is well. Say that. Right now, all is well. Now I want you to breathe into your heart. Now, breathe into your heart. When the mind starts going, then with all the fear and all the stuff, instead of being immobilized, allow yourself to get into it. Take a look at what's going on there. Now breathe into your heart and go, right now, all is well. And now invest in knowledge. Invest in yourself. Do what that takes to get the instruction, to get the support, to be able to then bring forth your heart's desires, so that you then are not part of the problem. You are bringing the solution as the real earth, the real life, the real of who we really are comes forth now. Absolutely now. And I invite you to come to Shasta, where I'm doing 3, and you could go to the website and see that, terrycole-whittaker.com. And it's going to be at the end of April, the end of May, the end of June. I'm going to do it's a 3-month course. It's about 4 hours where I also serve you lunch. And we have that, and you have relationships, you have a partner with, you have a workbook. And I'm really enthused about this. So it's a wonderful opportunity. I've got a lot of great workshops. So we have workshops up here. You create your own. And that you're able to, I'm able to be here with you full time and to support you in whatever it is that you want to attain in relationships, in your career, in your health, in your consciousness, in your divine realizations, as you also practice the mystic path, the path of the divine, and empower yourself to be all that you can be, because that is your work, and in empowering others to be all that they can be. This is our opportunity. And you know, as they say, I said it before, in the story, The Tale of Two Cities, I think the revolution somewhere in Europe, French, I guess, maybe we were there, but the best and the worst of times. And what we can do is make this the best. And how we do that is to understand the philosophy, know how we function, know how this functions, know where the power is, and stop outsourcing our power to everyone and everything else, and take it back in so that fear doesn't immobilize you, but you use it when it does come to activate yourself. And after a while, you won't even need it, you see, because you're centered in who you are, manifesting your ideal reality. So, big hugs. Hope to see you soon. And when you can, please ask you to contribute or donate to this work here of Adventures Enlightenment, so we could continue to give this out for free to all and everyone all over the earth that got a computer that can plug in and they can watch and they can be inspired, because you sponsored it, because you say, okay, this is my voice, this is what I want people to know. And that's what I like to do, to invite you to participate with me, because in your giving, you're also receiving and going beyond the fear of competition, the fear that other people will succeed, the fear that the people that I empower will be empowered and maybe they'll be better than I am or have more than I am, to go past all of that fear-based scarcity programming, to give to what's giving to you. And you know, it's like really key. We vote with our dollars, we vote with our energy, we vote with our consciousness. We're always voting in every single moment. And so what you want to do is place your vote into your own self to manifest your own desired reality. That's what this is about. So, big hugs.